To Kill a Mockingbird, Chapter 14. Although we heard no more about the Finch family from Aunt Alexandra, we heard plenty from the town. On Saturdays, armed with our nickels, when Jem permitted me to accompany him, we would squirm our way through sweating sidewalk crowds and sometimes hear, "There's this chillin'," or "Yonder's some Finches." Ha! They can go loose and rape up the countryside for all of 'em who run this county care. This obscure observation reminded me that I had a question to ask Atticus. "What's rape?" "Rape is carnal knowledge of a female by force and without consent." "Well, if that's all it is, why'd Calpurnia dry me up when I asked her what it was?" "What's that again?" "Well, I asked Calpurnia coming from church that day what it was, and she said ask you, but I forgot to ask, and now I'm asking you." "You all were coming back from Calpurnia's church that Sunday?" "Yes'm, she took us. And she promised me I could come out to her house some afternoon. Atticus, I'll go next Sunday if that's all right. Can I?" "You may not. I didn't ask you." "Apologize to your aunt." "I didn't ask her, I asked you." "First, apologize to your aunt." "I'm sorry, Auntie." I pondered a while and concluded that the only way I could retire with a shred of dignity was to go to the bathroom. Returning, I lingered in the hall to hear a fierce discussion going on in the living room. "You've got to do something about her. You've let things go on for too long, Atticus, too long." "I don't see any harm in letting her go out there. Cal'd look after her there as well as she does here." "Atticus, it's all right to be soft-hearted, but you have a daughter to think of, a daughter who's growing up." "That's what I am thinking of, and don't you try to get around it. You've got to face it sooner or later, and it might as well be tonight. We don't need her now. Alexandra, Calpurnia's not leaving this house until she wants to. She's a faithful member of this family, and you'll simply have to accept things the way they are." "But Atticus, besides, I don't think the children have suffered one bit from her having brought them up. She tried to bring them up according to her lights, and Cal's lights are pretty good. And another thing, the children love her." "Scout, try not to antagonize Auntie, hear? You trying to tell me what to do? Nuts. He's got a lot on his mind now, without us worrying him." "Like what?" "It's this Tom Robinson case that's worrying him to death." "Atticus doesn't worry about anything. Besides, that case never bothers us, except about once a week, and then it don't last." "That's because you can't hold something in your mind but for a little while. It's different with grown-up folks. His maddening superiority was unbearable these days. "Gee crawling Hoover, Jem, who do you think you are?" "Now I mean it, Scout. You antagonize Auntie and I'll spank you." With that, I was gone. "You damn more for that! I'll kill you!" "Ain't so high and mighty now, are you?" "Hey, God almighty!" "I'm about to perish. Got anything to eat?" "How'd you get here?" "Well, my new daddy turned out not to be so much like Atticus after all. Why, he chained me up in the basement and left me to die. There's basements in Meridian. Luckily, I was able to sustain myself on raw field peas a passing farmer gave me through the bars. I worked myself free from the wall by pulling the chains till they came loose, and sneaked out when it was dark, then walked all night till I came upon a traveling animal show. They gave me a job washing the camel, and I traveled all over Mississippi with 'em, till I realized I was right close to make 'em. So I parted company, and here I am." "How'd you get here, Dale?" "I took $13 from Mother's purse, and caught the 9 o'clock from Meridian." "They must not know you're here. Think they're still searching all the picture shows in Meridian. You ought to let your mother know where you are." And with that, Jem broke the remaining code of our childhood. Atticus, can you come here a minute, sir?" "It's okay, Dale. When he wants you to know something, he'll tell you. I'm not scared." "Just hungry, I'll bet. Scout, you fill this fellow up, and when I get back, I'll see what we can see." "Mr. Finch, don't tell Aunt Rachel. Don't make me go back. Please, sir, I'll run off again." "Whoa, son. Nobody's about to make you go anywhere but to bed pretty soon. I'm just over to tell Miss Rachel you're here and ask her if you could spend the night with us. And for goodness sake, put some of the county back where it belongs. The soil erosion's bad enough as it is." "He's trying to be funny. He means take a bath." "Dale, I had to tell him. You can't run 300 miles off without your mother knowing." "Move over, Scout." "Jem thought he had to, Dill. Don't stay mad with him." "I ain't. I just wanted to sleep with you. Are you waked up?" Why'd you do it? Was he really hateful like you said? Nah. Didn't you all build that boat like you were gonna when you wrote? He just said we would. We never did. It's no reason to run off. They don't get around to doing what they say they're gonna do half the time. That wasn't it. They just wasn't interested in me. How come? Well, they stayed gone all the time, and when they were home, even, they'd get off by themselves, in a room by themselves. You know something? I was fixing to run off tonight because because they all were. You don't want 'em around all the time, Dill. That's not it. The thing is, what I'm trying to say is, they get on a lot better without me. I can't help them any. They ain't mean. They buy me everything I want, but it's, now you've got it, you go play with it. You got that book, so you go read it. Oh, they ain't mean. Scout, let's get us a baby. Where? There's an old man you can order 'em from. Gets 'em from a foggy island someplace. Well, that ain't so. You get babies from each other. But there's this man, too. He has all these babies just waiting to wake up. He breathes life into 'em. Dill was off again. Beautiful things floated around his dreamy head. He could read 2 books to my 1, could add and subtract faster than lightning, but he preferred his own twilight world, a world where babies slept, waiting to be gathered like morning lilies. He was slowly talking himself to sleep and taking me with him. But in the quietness of his foggy island, there rose the faded image of a gray house with sad brown doors. Why do you reckon Boo Radley's never run off? Maybe he doesn't have anywhere to run off to.